So now we're familiarised with our reformer, let's move on to our warm-up. I would like you to bring up your foot bar to highest setting. And we're going to begin with thinking about our posture. So if you can lengthen up through the crown of your head, little shoulder roll coming up to your ears, squeeze and push your blades down. Focus on opening your chest. A lot of us are doing a lot of hunched over device work these days. So let's work on counteracting that with some lovely shoulder rolls. Then can you turn that shoulder roll into a nice big sweep with the arms? So mobilizing our shoulders, big arm circle, opening the hands, the fingers, taking a deep breath in and breathe out. Inhaling, exhaling. Let's reverse. Breathe in as we sweep behind, breathing out as we come down. Can you bring your eye gaze up towards the ceiling? And again, up towards the ceiling. The final one, mobilizing our hips. So we're going to take our hand onto the foot bar, bringing our outside leg up, around and down. And being quite precise with our hips. Can we steady the hips? So we're working with control, inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we circle. Can we give that a go on the other side? So turning around, bringing our knee up, out and around. Can you give me some pointed toes? So as you come up and out, pointing the toes. Let's start to think about moving our feet off to get squashing trainers, boots throughout the day. Reverse that circle, coming out, in and down. Keeping a sense of length and elongation up through the crown of the head. Steadying those hips. Final one on this side, and then let's switch around. Do it over on the other side. Knee coming up, in and down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Okay, so we have got our all springs on. Check that at the start. And I'd like you to drop your bar. Depending on where your leg length is, I'm going to go about halfway here. So if you find the bar is appropriate way, you can lay yourself down with your feet on the bar. So let's come onto the carriage safely. So I'd like you to place one hand on the bar and the other hand on the shoulder block. We're going to switch this hand, scooping this arm under to bring our shoulder down, and then rolling safely onto our backs, just feeling for those shoulder blocks nestled nicely with our shoulders. Let's place our feet hip width onto the bar here. Now I'd like to bring your palms down so that they face up, palms up towards the ceiling. And let's move into some footwork. Now, we can either place our feet with the ball of the foot on, so just feeling for the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot, feeling for that now, or through the heels. So if you can feel for your heels. So let's start up at the ball. I'd like you to push your body up against the shoulder blocks and then coming down without any pressure, with control. Pushing it again away and coming down with control. Noticing between your left and right foot as you come up and down, we've got that even pressure there between the left and the right. Checking in with the knees, so as we extend, not overextending the knees, a little bit of softness in the knee, pushing out, breathing in, exhaling to lower. So let's use this time for our breathing space. Let's move it up to our arch of our foot. If you have any plantar fasciitis or foot issues and that position doesn't quite sit well with you today, feel free to come back to the ball of the foot. You can switch it up to the heel. So let's vary it now by coming up to the heel. Inhaling as we lift. Exhaling as we come back down. Let's move it up one more time and then coming back to the ball of the foot. So warming up into our feet. Now at the top this time, I'd like you to pause like this. We're going to hold. And then can we drop the heel like this? Go up onto pointy toes and then lower again. So let's give that a try. We straighten the legs out, drop through the heel with a straight leg. Rise again onto our tippy toes and then allow the legs to bend. Breathe in, straight legs, exhale, heel, inhale, tippy toes and bend the legs again. And we do two more. We straighten, bend through, straighten, let the leg bend. So again, we're going to straighten the legs, dropping through the heels, up onto our tiptoes, and then bend through the legs. And we've got the option of going into a wider foot position so that the toes are turned out. If you're more of an improver level or more advanced, then go ahead for this version. Feel free to stay with that more basic option if you're more beginner level. So heels turned in, toes turned out. If you're doing that wider foot position, we're going to press through the heel, bend the knees. So like a ballet plie. With control, opening the knees, straightening the knees. Think of opening your hips, pressing the carriage away. And we do three more, breathing in, breathing out. Two more. And final one. So warming up nicely into the legs. Let's work on our mobility in our spine. So moving into our shoulder bridge raise. So from here, we're going to curl the tailbone under just a little bit and then roll the pelvis down. So just starting from the pelvis, a little bit of pelvic floor squeeze as you tuck your bottom under, and then allow those muscles to soften, flatten, and let go. Let's do that again, but this time adding a bit more height. So we're going to push our hips up, pausing there at the top, and then imprinting down bone by bone. Let's do that again. So curling from behind, a little bit of pelvic floor squeeze, and applying a bit of push down through our feet, imprinting the spine down, bone by bone. Let's breathe in and lift. And exhale as we lower. Working on segmental movement of the spine. Healing the spine up, bone by bone as we lift. Pausing there at the top and then imprinting down, bone by bone. Now, if you prefer to stick with this level, feel free to stay here. Next level, see if you can keep your hips nice and level. Have a little glance down your body. Can we keep those hips elevated as we straighten out through the legs, bend through the knees, and then imprint back down. Let's try that again. So curling the tailbone up, squeezing the glutes from behind so we're activating those deeper glute muscles, one of the biggest, well, the biggest muscle in our body, good for our power in our legs, our back and hip care. So we're good to work on these muscles on a regular basis. And we do that 3 more times, inhaling as we lift. Again, bringing the carriage back in safely and with that control and precision. Thinking about our posture through our knees, hips, and our chest. So let's do one more to really nicely warm up our legs. And let's relax ourselves back down. Focusing in now on some core principles and some engagement from the torso. And you draw your belly button in a little. So you hover a leg, extend, tap, and in. So on the other side, hover, extend, tap to the foot bar, and in. And let's do it again. Out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe. So beginner level, you might prefer to stay with this version. Second option, I'm going to tap, hovering that other knee off the floor. So bring up nicely into our core. Can we do 4 more? Breathe. And last couple. So final one. Now, if you can place your feet back on the bar, I'm going to bring our opposite hand to our shoulder block and then turn over to the side, coming up safely to planting both of our feet on the floor. So feel free to grab a drink. Let's make sure that we're nice and hydrated. And now from here, we're going to move into some spine twists. So seated, I'd like you to place your hands top of your shoulder. Can you rotate a little behind you? Move to the middle. Keeping the lower half steady as you rotate behind the other way. How does that feel each time? Can you see behind you? Gradually, if it feels appropriate, you might see if you can open up your field of vision. Notice a bit more of the room behind you. You're mindfully being aware of your surroundings and aware of your body. Keep lengthening your posture. Let's go for a longer arm now. Elongating up through the crown of your head. One more each way. Breathe. Okay, resting off. So from here, we're going to move into our rowing series. So we can park our feet here in the middle. If you want to cross them over, you can. We'll switch them over the other way. I'm going to go place both of my feet in here. Now, for beginner level, if you want to, you can bring up your log box and pop it here so that you're sat on top of it. Your feet here on the shoulder blocks. Now, depending on your limb size, I guess, we're gonna take hold of our inner handle, and I'd like you to use your pulleys to do a low row with your palms facing down. So moving the carriage, pressing the shoulder blades down. Now, depending on your level of resistance, you might prefer to go for lighter and tougher. So you can adjust your springs here. So at the moment, I've got all of my springs on. If you want it lighter, have got our red springs. But not all always the same, but on this particular machine, you're going to take off red springs and come back to our handles. Now, the other way that we can adjust resistance is actually to go a little further along the strap, or we can add a cross. So have a little play, feel what feels good to you, and you squeeze your shoulders and get your elbow to shift behind you, lengthening up through your spine. Now, if we want to, we can add a bit of footwork here. So pointy toes, flexing our toes. If that's a coordination challenge, feel free to leave the footwork out of it. We can also rotate so that our arm, our forearm is turning up, palms up and then palms down. Palm up, palm down. Okay, singles. Little rotation. Have a little play. Turn, breathe in. Look behind the shoulder. Breathe out. Let's do 2 more. And 5 more. All right, so from here, let's move it into a higher row. Bringing our elbows up and out, but without the shoulder blade hunching up around the ear. Let's move away from our desk posture. Talk to the shoulders. See if you can do it without the shoulder blades hunching to the ears, bringing the elbow up. So again, working with that precision and control in the body. Talk to the shoulders. Let's do one of each. We'll go low, and then high. And again, low, and now high. And now low with rotation, and then high. And again, low with rotation, and then high. One more. Low row, rotation, and then high. We're going to stay with the high. Single. Can you turn your upper body? Breathe. Getting nice and warm now. Last couple. All right, resting up. Okay, break coming up nicely. So from here now, if you can take hold of the straps, and I'd like you to bring your hands up to about the same height as your shoulder. So keeping the spine nice and long. I'm going to do a high bicep curl. Extend out and pull. Breathe. Moving now to our triceps, which are on the back of the arm. So working agonists, antagonists. So we're going to turn the palms over. And notice now the upper body is going to lean as we press behind. Flattening the hand as we press back. And again, press. Almost like you're trying to push a wall away behind you as you lean your upper body. Think of your chest down towards your thigh. It's up, eye gaze down. Now, you can either stay with this version, or you might want to mix it up. So we move back to our curl, and then our triceps. So working the bicep, and moving into the tricep. Breathe out. Breathe out and in. Breathe out. In. And we do 2 more. So final one. Alrighty, so heart rate's coming up nicely. If you can place your straps back on the bars, and let's put our feet down on the floor. And now is a good time for our drink. So that's our warm up and first exercise of today. Hope you have enjoyed it.